Welcome to VHS Sisters, a nostalgic movie podcast with two actual real-life sisters.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Seisha.
Get into some comfy clothes, grab your favorite beverage,
and come hang out with us as I force my little sister to watch all the movies she missed growing up. Today, I'm going to start with a question.
Okie dokie.
And today's question is, how do you feel about romantic comedies as a genre?
I like them.
Okay, great. I figured.
I like romantic comedies. I think that typically they're overdone. There's a lot of them that are not great, not funny. There was a time during the mid 2000s where it was just like Ashton Kutcher and like Justin Timberlake and like all of these people like starring against like Mila Kunis or something.
Wait.
And they like brand it as a romantic comedy. I've never watched them, but I'm like, I have no desire to ever watch this. This doesn't feel classic to me.
Sorry, back up. Justin Timberlake was in a romantic comedy?
I think so.
He
had a minute of an acting phase. He sure did.
I'm just remembering, like, I always think of like the stereotypical romantic comedy box, which is like there's a guy and a gal, of course, a straight white man and a straight white woman, usually, and they're like leaning on opposite sides of walls, and like the title is in the middle, and that's
what I'm saying. Like those are the ones that like when I think of like the phrase rom-com, I think of that, and I'm like, that's not good. You know, I want to see a good one.
I do think that there are good ones. And we're going to talk about... Hi, welcome to VHS Sisters. I'm Seisha.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm the big sister who makes my little sister watch movies that somehow she missed in the 90s. And this one, I was really shocked because you are... I would say I know you to be a fan of romance, a fan of love, a fan of connections. Some of your favorite shows and movies have a lot of love,
romantic undertones.
Romantic, like if there's no romance, why bother?
I will say about 90% of the books I read, maybe 85%, have to do with some sort of romantic subplot or just main plot. Give me some love. Give me some yearning.
Okay. Yeah. We talked about like the need for yearning. Do you like romance as a subplot more, or do you like it as the main focus?
I like it everywhere.
I like it every way and everywhere.
Every which way it fits in, you know, I love it. Like there's a scene that I always think of in Game of Thrones, like towards the end and like the later seasons, which we all know have their issues.
Sure.
But there's a plot with Tormund and Brienne. He's just like obsessed with her. Meanwhile, like the world is falling apart and everyone's kind of like navigating how do we defeat the big bad. Sure. And he's just like, where's the tall woman? I want to make babies with her. And I'm like, oh, yes, sir.
It seems like even if there's a work of art where there's like war or conflict happening, if there is some sort of a romantic subplot, it makes it worth your while.
Well, it gives the character something to live for, you know, something to fight for.
Sure.
And that's, I think, what gets me so interested in these romantic scenes of movies, books, whatever. Like it kind of gives you the strength, the motivation to like push forward because there's a good thing at the end, possibly, you know, so just like letting hope take you places.
So you don't think, like a lot of people think, that romance is a scam?
I think people think that for sure.
Yeah, but I'm saying you don't think that. You think that romance is real and it exists outside of fantasy. I'm going somewhere with this.
Here's the thing. Romance is real, but is it common? Is it misunderstood? Is it something that people think they have, but really just like have someone to split the bills with and kind of like be nearby, like a body double? Or is it like a deep, you know, desire to always think of the other person, you know, what their needs are, what they would want, you know, kind of putting them not necessarily always in front of your own personal needs, but like always having that in mind, you know, is that love? I think so.
We're gonna really dig deep into the big questions today.
Mm-hmm.
This is our relationship love podcast, perhaps our 13 podcast idea. Because this movie, the movie we're talking about today, When Harry Met Sally, a Rob Reiner film, is, I was like, first of all, I presented this movie as something you should see because this was like the gold standard for like late 80s, early 90s rom-com. I feel like it really triggered like this huge boom in romantic comedies of the 90s. And Nora Ephron, who was the screenwriter, who was like a very famous romantic comedy screenwriter, she sort of like, her and Rob Reiner sort of like set the template with this. Upon rewatch, I was like, I had a lot of mixed feelings. I know this movie really well, not as well as I would say a lot of like my straight friends. And I will say that right out the gate, this is an incredibly straight movie.
Quite possibly one of the straightest.
Yeah, and that's my main beef with it. It is like this, speaking of like fantasy, this is a great segue from Game of Thrones. Speaking of fantasy, this is like a fantasy New York in which gay people do not exist. They've never existed. It's only straight white men and straight white women. I don't think there's a single person of color in this.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
And I want to say, I also noticed it's complete fantasy because I noticed that nobody is smoking in this movie.
Ooh, good catch.
So it's like, that doesn't seem to be like a late 80s New York. Usually people are smoking a cigarette like at the party or like probably at the airport, or maybe driving back from college, so it's like one of those things where I'm like, okay, I didn't clock anyone who's a smoker in this.
Yeah, it's a very like clean fantasy version of a little bit of Chicago in the beginning and then all New York. And it's this very like white, straight, a little Jewish, although, I would maybe a lot of Jewish, like a very like Jewish New Yorker kind of lens. And it's so interesting to me because from my perspective, this was something that I watched repeatedly in the 90s, specifically with like college friends who were more into it than I was.
Okay.
At that time, I was really getting into like Bridget Jones' Diary. That's like one of my favorites. Is it a flawed movie? Yes, but that is really my cup of tea. This movie is very like revered by people who like put marriage on a pedestal.
Yes.
And it's like, there's something about it where I'm just like, we have to talk about this movie. We absolutely have to, because there's so much to discuss. I want to know, do you have any memories of this movie? Had you like seen clips of it? Is it like in your brain space at all prior to watching it yesterday?
Any prior associations with this movie? I've been to Katz's Deli.
Oh, okay.
Numerous times.
So you've been to like places that are in this movie.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
So like I knew about like the scene where she's faking an orgasm.
Right.
In Katz's Deli and everybody like is, watching her and the lady goes, I'll have what she's having. Like, right. I knew that scene and I've seen the sign when you walk in and it goes, hey, this is where Harry met Sally kind of thing. Like, even though technically they met in Chicago, whatever.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Having that like in my mind, knowing, okay, this is the place where they've shot the film. I know the scene where she's faking it and he's just kind of like, what? She's really giving it her best, trying to prove a point to him. Right. And I think she proves the point. Yeah. So that's the only real memory I have of the movie. Everything else was completely new to me as of yesterday.
Right. It is very much like a set piece for a lot of famous New York locations. And at the very least, I'm like, okay, we can break down this movie and like what we think is good or, successful or not successful about it. But I'm like, at the very least, I'm like, Melanie has to watch this movie because in terms of like romantic comedy set in New York, it is like set piece after set piece. They go to Central Park. They go to Katz's Deli. They go to Cafe Luxembourg, which I don't know if you've ever been to.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, it's like just one of those like old timey like
We talked about this before back when like it was like what cafe it was at Jaffa Cafe and like all of these places that
no longer exist. I think Cafe Luxembourg still exists, maybe because of this movie.
Maybe so.
Yeah, no, it's a very like, and we were talking a lot about, we're in this weird space between Halloween and Christmas. And it's like, okay, like what's a fall movie? And I was like, oh yeah, When Harry Met Sally, it's so fall. It's so autumnal. We have autumnal fashion, colors, there's leaves. They get a Christmas tree. Upon rewatch, I was like, holy shit, this is like a New Year's movie because they go to a New Year's party twice. But yeah, that kind of covers all seasons,
It does.
It's the summertime. They go to baseball games, they go to football games, very like New York-y. I will say, I just want to say right off the bat, this is the most Woody Allen movie that's not a Woody Allen movie. And Woody Allen is a huge part of like my movie history and my personal philosophy history. I do not want to cover a Woody Allen movie for a lot of, we don't need to talk about him.
We don't have to. I've seen some,
Yeah, I feel like I was watching it and I'm like, oh, this is like Annie Hall, except in the end, they end up together. If it was a Woody Allen movie, they would break up at the end. That's like the template. And I think in the original screenplay, they wanted Harry and Sally to not end up together. They would just be friends or they would drift apart. And to me, I'm like, oh, that would have been like a more interesting movie. But I think Rob Reiner, the director, famous director of This Is Spinal Tap, he did Princess Bride, which you've seen both of those, right?
I've not seen all of This Is Spinal Tap, and I've seen Princess Bride numerous times.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you get his style and his humor a little bit. Yeah. No, he was just like, no, this is going to be a happy ending. We're gonna
and that's fine.
Yeah, this is about as Woody Allen as we're gonna get in terms of like the biggest part of that being we have an extremely unlikely leading man who is bagging peak Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's just start with that. How do you feel about Billy Crystal as a love interest?
Well, I'll say that I think he's got the charm.
Okay.
He is charming. What he makes up for in my eyes, with not having the looks that I'm kind of vibing with. No offense. Not, but I mean, honestly, when he was college age version with the wig on, he was okay.
You're like, I dig that. They're like both fully 40.
Yeah, I know.
By the way, they're both not looking like teenagers at all. Like Meg Ryan a little bit more so because she was younger at the time. I think she was like in her 20s when she did this movie. And he was probably almost 40. I was like, him trying to play a college age kid is so funny to me.
It is.
And it's also interesting. His character is supposed to be a bit of like a nihilist, almost like a goth. He's like, yeah, I think about death all the time. He tries to come across sort of like an edgelord right from the get. And I was like,
edgelord.
I didn't remember that about his character. And I was like, it doesn't really work with him. I think it's odd casting, but I don't know. We talked a lot about alternate castings with Labyrinth. I wondered if you had like a better idea of who might play Harry, but we can table that. We don't need to get into that right now.
We can table that. I can't even think that far.
But yeah, so you weren't totally sold. You thought like, yeah, maybe he's a little bit charming, but in the looks department, he's not doing it for you.
Not for me. But I feel like there are some people who really find him attractive, maybe. And one of those people might be my coworker, because when I mentioned it, that I was going to watch this movie.
Right.
She'll probably never listen to this podcast, Miss Amy, because she's near retirement now. But anyways, she goes, I love that movie. That's my favorite movie. So I was like,
oh
okay,
my God.
She, loves her some Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal. Yeah. Is Miss Amy in her 60s?
She's either in her late 50s. She's closer, but she's a fun gal.
Yeah, I was going to say
to Amy.
I feel like if you're like a solid Gen Xer, like maybe an elder Gen Xer or even like a young boomer, you'd really get into this.
Yeah, she's definitely younger than Mom.
Gotcha. Yeah, this movie came out in 1989. So it's like that cusp of the 80s and 90s, which is a very fascinating fashion time for me. because it's not really like one thing or the other. And we've talked a lot about before how like the early 80s were actually still the 70s.
Mhm.
And this was like, I feel like 89 was like peak 80s, but also like just we have to talk about all the fashion of this movie because there's so much going on in terms of like knits, sweaters, hats, vests, shoes. It's out of control. This is like, in my mind, just dipping back into Seisha's lore a little bit, this was like this idealized version of New York that I thought I was going to live in, not knowing that I would end up, for years downtown on the Lower East Side.
Mhm.
This is like, I didn't know at the time. I was like, oh, this is like a very specific, like uptown kind of vibe.
It's an Upper West Side movie for sure.
This is Upper West Side. And honestly, that was the part I was vibing on the most. I was like, oh yeah, this huge brownstone that they probably paid like
gorgeous
$250,000 for maybe back in 1989. And that would have been like, a little expensive.
With like the split stoop, like it comes down, then cuts, and there's a platform and more stairs. I'm like, that just makes my mouth water.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I'm not horny for Billy Crystal. I'm horny for that brownstone.
I am actually, yeah.
Give me that.
I fantasized about it. I didn't quite look on Realtor after watching the movie because usually I'll do that. And I'm like, let me just look at like the houses in that area and let me see what they look like all on the inside. So
it's like a whole different world. And yeah, it was like, there were just like vibes and feelings that like came back to me. I was like, oh, right. Like at the Christmas party, or when they're playing charades at that party, like they in the kitchen, Carrie Fisher, her character is making Zabar's coffee. And I was like,
thank you.
I was like, oh my God, like all this stuff. I was like, this is like a part of New York that I've touched a little bit, but I've never like fully been in that world. And it's so fascinating to me. I'm like, everybody's like a journalist. Everyone, like, I'm like, what is everyone's job? And how do they afford all of this stuff? Because they're like out here going to lunch at like Tavern on the Green. They all have very nice sweaters. What were your feelings about that?
I was going to say, this is a time when like having a college degree basically guaranteed you a good job. Like you could survive in New York relatively on your own with that college degree because you would get all kinds of job offers, this and that. Now it's like, if you have a master's, you're still getting sent through the AI resume feeder. Like nobody cares,
No one cares. And yeah, it was like, that was very much like a clear path for people. And I feel like that was kind of dying out when I was college age. Certainly by the time you went to college, it was like, it was sort of chaos, right? People were like, there's no guarantee, but everybody says go to college because that's the way to get a job. And that just didn't pan out for a lot of people.
No, not at all.
If anything, this movie exists as like, I just keep saying fantasy. It's like this fantasy world where people have jobs and nice clothes. And that's not a thing that exists unless you're like uber rich now or you have generational wealth.
Right. They all afford brownstones or like really cool. Like I think Billy Crystal's apartment's like a loft apartment.
Oh my God. Let's talk about that loft apartment. How much did that cost a month? Where was it? Where is that apartment now? Because I want to know.
In the 40s, like the West 40s.
I don't know. I should have looked this up. I'll look it up right now and then we'll because it looks like a Soho apartment, right?
It does. Like the way that the top of the windows are arched and stuff. It looks like he's like a penthouse loft.
Where is Billy Christmas? Billy Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Chrysler.
Merry Chrysler. Harry met Sally. Yeah, like I should have gone on the Zillow. Okay, so Billy Crystal's apartment is located on the top floor of a building, 57 East 11th Street in Greenwich Village, New York City. So it's real. And we can go and check it out.
Attempt to squat there.
And yeah, go kill go murder whoever lives there. Yeah, no, there's a lot of When Harry Met Sally tours.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's an essential stop. I loved all of the New York locations. Yeah. Was it making you feel any type of way? Were you like,
yes,
pointing at the screen like Leonardo DiCaprio and that one movie.
I was like, oh, the many times I've been to the Met, the many times I've walked through like the south part of Central Park, making me feel nostalgic for time that has gone on.
Right.
But also making me really like, because every time I come visit and stuff, I kind of have not like the same routine. We do mix it up quite often
Sure.
when I visit, but it's like next time I'm in New York, I really want to spend some time on the Upper West Side. I would love to go back to, I want to go to like Zabar's. I want to go like pick out instead of ordering it, which I did receive my Zabar's holiday catalog in the mail.
Listeners, she's holding up the Zabar catalog as we speak.
Yeah, I'm ready to order about 10 pounds of salmon. Actually, no, maybe like 3 because 10 would be excessive. But yeah, I'm just like, okay, I need to do some shopping. I want to go maybe pop my head into the Museum of Natural History, check out the waterfront on that side, go to the park. It's so set in a time, like it just, when you were walking up there, you really feel like you could be transported, but then obviously we have modern technology and all these other things going on. So it's like, you have to really focus on getting that feeling, that nostalgic feeling. You got to like purposefully go there and do it.
Yeah. And there are definitely places, especially, I mean, in Manhattan, yes. Has everything turned into a weed store? Yes.
Yeah.
But also there are these little pockets, like sometimes you find it, right? And the one thing that is so interesting about New York is like, yes, it's constantly changing. Everybody who's lived there for a while, like I've lived here over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I consider myself spiritually a New Yorker, although I will never be a native and I can never claim that.
Right.
So much of your experience is colored by like the first few interactions you have with the city. And you keep trying to find that old New York feeling. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Zabar's is one of those places. Shout out to Saul Zabar, who just passed away, by the way. R.I.P. King at 97. Yeah, it's like you can go in there and you can be like, oh, I'm like a Upper West Side housewife getting ready for the holidays, especially this time of year. You know what this podcast is telling me right now is that you need to come visit for the holidays. I think that you should just take quick little planes are kind of normal again.
They are. Thank goodness. Everyone's hopefully getting their checks,
Everyone's getting their checks, everything's going to be okay for a little while longer. Just hop a plane, fly Delta to LaGuardia, and then we'll do a Christmas extravaganza.
I love Christmas. I do. And it's just like, I love lights. I like the calm coziness of it. I like spending time with family. I like eating the yummy food. It's not all about the presents. Although, if you need something, now's the time to shop because everything's getting discounted. So it's like, whatever.
That's right. Yeah. I think, you should come and we should do like a nice little Upper Manhattan. We'll do our own When Harry Met Sally tour. I'll do it for you. I'll lead it for you.
It's funny because my earlier years in New York, because I've been coming out there. I mean, the first trip I think I took was in 2004 or 5, maybe.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah.
2005. And then that was with mom. And then I came out for a part of the summer in 2008, again for the whole summer in 2009, and then officially moved there in 2010 when I graduated high school. So like a lot of that time in 2008 and 9, I think we spent like really getting out there and seeing so much of the city,
right.
Every day was a different activity, kind of like, if I wasn't like working, helping out at the places that you were working, it's like we would go and spend time exploring the city, going to different areas, North Brooklyn, South Brooklyn, all the way out to Queens, all the way to the Upper West Side, concerts in Central Park, concerts in Prospect Park, like just everywhere. And I want to, when I visit again, like I said, I want to get back to that energy. I want to kind of like do a little more, not the usual stomping grounds. Soho's basically dead now. All there's a shopping.
Soho's burnt.
Greenwich Village is nice. It always is nice. Chelsea, now that there's like the huge market there, and the High Line's been there since it was built, like around the time I started to visit.
I don't know. I've never been. As somebody who lives here, I've never been. Yeah.
There's just something about like, again, Upper East Side, but I think Upper West Side just has more character.
Right. Yeah, no, I like if we had unlimited wealth.
Oh yeah.
I feel like getting a spot Upper West Side close to the park.
You'll see me in the
right?
upper 70s, 80s for sure.
Upper 70s, 80s. Yeah. It's like any listeners live up there. Can you hook us? Can you invite us to your place?
Yeah.
Because we'd like to know how, the 1% lives.
That or just like, I'm down to bring a treat that we can all share. I'll go to Zabar's. I'll pick something up.
Yeah, we're classy people. We
You
may
know how to like host and like go to people's houses. You bring something. You always bring something.
We are Eastern European, okay? We're gonna bring a wine, an appetizer, a bread. We're classy like that. If you have any holiday parties going on, please let us know.
Invite the VHS sisters.
Invite VHS sisters because we will liven up any event. Yeah, I love how we're just now talking about our favorite things about New York.
And I mean, that's kind of what this movie is. It's just like
it is, yeah.
It highlighted with the undertone of the friendship romance that's going on between Harry and Sally.
Right. It's really like a love story to New York. That's the real love. The real love is, romance schmomance. I'm talking about who's got that nice house, who's got that nice apartment. That's what I'm after.
Exactly. I want to see crispy trees. I want to see people drinking out of, mugs at their favorite cafe.
Yeah, no, all the creature comforts. I tell you, there's no romance without finance is what I have to say. That's a song. That's a song, and it's so true. Yeah, this is a very it's a deeply New York movie. It's a very romantic movie. It's very like Jewish comedian movie. It's like the screenplay by Nora Ephron, who, she wrote the movie Heartburn. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Mm-mm.
She wrote Sleepless in Seattle,
which I thought I might have seen, but I don't know. I don't know if I have.
I think Sleepless in Seattle for me is a better movie. Also a big VHS rewatch.
Put it on the list.
I'll put it on the list. We can start blowing through some rom-coms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the big attraction with this movie is, again, it's this very like Woody Allen-esque New York. They're both like navigating their adult lives. You see them like college age and then like young 20s. They run into each other at the airport.
Yeah.
And then they manage to run into each other at a bookstore much later when like he's going through his divorce and like she's going through a breakup. I just want to say, I'm sorry, just to like cut into that bookstore scene. First of all, Carrie Fisher, amazing, like very, very funny, full like Grondin's haircut, like you like to say.
I wrote a note about the coiffed hair.
She is, I just miss her so much. She's so coiffed and like so funny. She's playing like this insecure person who's like with a married man. And I was just like, girl, you gotta get real.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta leave him.
That man don't want you.
And just like the funny set piece of being in this very like Upper West Side bookstore, and they're surrounded by self-help books, which I think are still like very much a thing. Like everyone's into like wellness and self-help and optimizing and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, these women, their lives would be so improved if they left that self-help section and they walked right into the erotica section. And this would be a different movie. Do you know what I'm saying?
I would have probably really liked to see that version of When Harry Met Sally.
That's what this is for everyone who's listening right now. Take your self-help books and throw them in the trash and go get yourself some fantasy smut where a giant orc is like banging the heroine.
It's going to get your life together.
That's what I'm saying. We need less self-help, more fantasy romance. That's my stance. I feel like we agree on that.
I stand right next to you, linked arm in arm. Like that is the hill we will die on.
The women in this movie are so focused on like, this is like the anti-4B movie.
Oh yeah. They're like, well, when they're sitting down at Tavern on the Green and they're going through, Carrie Fisher has like a Rolodex of single men, right, or like eligible bachelors or whatever. Sally, she's like, I just need a break. I'm in my mourning period of being over this relationship. And, right. Carrie Fisher's like, well, honestly, she's like, you should just find someone on here and get married, because at least you can say you've been married. It's like,
oh yeah, that was so dark.
yeah, I'm like, at least you can say, I mean, I feel like I don't know, and I could be that everyone's opinion is different, but I'm like, the prize is to find somebody who hasn't been tarnished.
Yeah, go ahead, finish
I
your
was gonna say,
thought.
by like abusive or like non-committal committed relationships, like get rid of that, throw that in the trash. Why do we want that? Just for the sake of being like, oh, I've been somebody's wife before.
Yeah, and again, it's like this sort of how do they say it? It's like assumed heterosexuality or like compulsive heterosexuality, that it's like, oh yeah, you are a woman, you must find a man, and that is the only way to prove your worth, even if he's kind of a dud. At least like the marriage is the thing,
It's
like
a status symbol.
It's 100% a status symbol. And then I'm just like, Sally has a nice apartment. She seems to have a good job. She has great clothes. I'm like, girl, go live your life. Like, what do you give a shit if your dumb boyfriend, like if you guys broke up, who gives a shit?
I feel like in Sex and the City, Samantha Jones was like the anti-Carrie Fisher in this movie.
Oh my God. Well, Sex and the City really, like, not to pivot too hard, but Sex and the City really changed. I'm not like a hardcore fan, but like that was a very important show when it came out.
Oh, yes.
Just because, and people had a lot of beef with it because they're like, oh, is this how women talk? They talk about like dicks and orgasms and like one night stands. It's like, yeah, they do.
In fact.
Yeah, maybe more than men. I don't know. Yeah, no, that was pretty like, I hate overusing this phrase too much, but it was pretty game changing. Mm-hmm. And just the idea that a woman could have sex for pleasure and not give a shit about being married was like huge. And they're like, this isn't how real women talk. This is how gay men talk, because gay men, that's who the show is for. I was like, no, this is real. This is 100% real. Yeah, no, this movie, When Harry Met Sally, is, like I said, it's fantasy New York. Gay people do not exist here. Mm-hmm. The idea of being a lesbian or a gay man is just like not even coming into their brain space at all.
Right.
So like the big question this movie puts out there, like on the movie poster, in the trailer, can a man and woman be friends without sex being involved? How do you feel? What do you feel? What is your take on that question?
You want my 2025 take, or you want like,
I want honesty. I want a cold, hard take.
I think, speaking for myself,
right?
Obviously, I'm not attracted to every single guy. Maybe men feel differently about me, but that's not my fucking problem.
But okay, let me say this. Do you have male friends? You're a straight woman, correct?
Yes, correct, yeah.
Melanie is a heterosexual.
Unfortunately, everyone, I'm trying.
Monogamous.
Mm-hmm.
We're not polyamorous. We are.
No.
I got to be with one person.
Yep.
Okay, we're back to finding Melanie a mate on the pod, by the way.
Keep them apps coming.
Keep them apps coming. So, okay, she's heterosexual. Mm-hmm. She is monogamy minded.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Have you ever do you currently have a male friend who you have not slept with, who is just a friend and isn't like the partner of a friend or cousin?
You're saying straight man friend?
But okay. you have gay friends.
Plenty of gay friends.
Okay, great. But do you have a straight man friend? We're getting into it today. Now, this is psychology
that I hang out with regularly. Actually, I don't think I do.
So maybe it's true.
Maybe it is.
Maybe it's true.
No, the problem is like I do. My schedule's kind of nuts. Like it's regimented in the sense of like I go to work. Like I have to physically leave my house to go to work. I spend a lot of time at work, but I also have free time. In my free time, I like to do this, chat with my sister.
Sure.
I like to hang out with my family members, tidy, shop, make my living space more cozy. I have plenty of things that I like to do, a lot of hobbies. Do I have any straight male friends at work? Of course, but they're also my coworkers. Do I hang out with them outside of work? No.
And you shouldn't for many reasons.
Wouldn't.
Yeah. But also, do they want to have sex with you?
I don't believe so.
You think that they look at you and they don't think sex objects?
I mean, it's me you're talking about.
Yeah. No, I mean, how could we not think
How could we not?
Yeah, it's it's very tricky to say. And I feel like, yeah, that's the thing I was thinking about as I was watching this movie and all these women go through all these trials and tribulations over these dusty ass men is like, not to put myself on a pedestal, but I was just like, wow, these have never been my problems. I've never like thought about this. Have I felt like outside pressure to like get married from like family? Yes, but because that's their value. And it's not, do you know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting here like going through my Rolodex. You know what? I've never had to ask for dates. Okay.
And I never will.
And I never will. Right. I was just like, this is, I don't know, this sort of like desperation. And I think that's where the comedy is too in this. It's just like, oh, you know, oh, so-and-so just got divorced. Like, oh, we have to jump on him and go get him because he's like available now. I'm like, what is this insanity? Like, can we just like not think about like this movie does not pass the Bechdel test or whatever. It's like the only conversations women have with each other is about a relationship with a man. And honestly, it's a little tiring. I was trying to think of like bright points in the movie. I have to say, well, let's hear your opinion because it was your first time watching it. Were there any like bright points for you other than all the New York City locations?
I mean, I liked their relationship, Harry and Sally. I like that they like went around different areas, obviously referring back, but it's like they went to the Met and they're talking about like they're talking in funny accents, you know, to each other.
Yeah,
like they have these little like quirky moments together. I think that's like the best type of relationship. It starts from having friendship first.
Yeah.
So, you know, there were these moments where you really see them and whether watching Casablanca on TV and they're talking to each other on the phone like, hey, would you rather have been with, you know, so and so? No, I think I still would pick this guy, you know. So it's just like I liked their little, I don't know, just like their flow of their relationship. It's just so funny to me that like considering how desperate everyone was to get married, you wouldn't think to just pick the person that you're friends with. But I think she had mentioned too that he kind of like goes through women or like thought of them as a task or like a trophy, you know, and like kept it moving. So she didn't want to be a part of that. So I think she kind of set that clear boundary. Plus he probably like put her off a little bit, even in the beginning when they first met.
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes down to like the casting of Billy Crystal, because I think Harry is, like I said, he's supposed to be a bit of a nihilist. I think it would work better if he was like super hot. We've agreed that like some women would find him attractive, which is fine. The whole thing, the casting of Harry, I think if he was sort of like this Mr. Darcy, like sort of rude, but hot guy. And then like, yeah, he's using women left and, you know, maybe if he was like a little bit more of like a playboy.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. Cause then she's like saying that he's after all these conquests. I'm like, he was married for a long time and was divorced.
Yeah. And then I think she's giving him a hard time because post-divorce, he's having like all these rebound hookups and they're talking about it. And she thinks he's very shallow. And so she just doesn't want a guy who's like interested in sleeping around. She definitely doesn't seem as like sex focused. That's also like a very like straight person lens. Like she doesn't seem like overly sexed and he is. Yeah, all the men seem to be a little bit more like the way it's written. I'm like, all these women just seem to know men who are like very, very sex focused.
Horn dogs.
Yo, these men are horny. Yeah, I feel like in terms of relationships, yeah, their connection is cute. I thought that whole scene where they're watching Casablanca with each other, that I was like, oh, remember when we used to do that? This is like back in the day, it'd be like, oh, this movie's on, turn on channel 11. Yeah. And then watch it together and talk on the phone. And that scene where they're talking about it, I'm like, oh, that's really nice. That's really nice. I was just like, I remember like having long phone conversations with people. And that is like a great way to like get to know somebody like on a not visual level. Like you really get to know their thoughts and their values. So I did think that was cute. I also thought like Harry and Sally are cute. Obviously, they have a lot of good moments. A lot of the improv, like the part where like Billy Crystal's talking to Meg Ryan at the Met and he's like getting her to say funny things like pepper, say pepper. That's all improv. Like a lot of their stuff, it's kind of a loose script. So Rob Reiner kind of let them play. And so you can see like a lot of Billy Crystal coming out like from his comedy routines and stuff like that. When they're talking on the plane, he talks about like, you know, the white man overbite or whatever when they did. I'm like, that's like a Billy Crystal bit. I thought they were great, but I also thought that the combo of Jess and Marie, their friends who end up hooking up. First of all, I love how that happened. I love that whole idea of like, okay, I'm going to take you on a date and you're going to hook up with this person. And then it goes the opposite way.
Oh yeah, that was good. I liked that a lot because then she quotes restaurants in the 80s is what theater was in the 60s or something.
Right. And then there's that quote about pesto. And then the character Jess, who's played by Bruno Kirby, is like, oh, I wrote that.
I've never had myself quoted back to myself. And it's like you can see that she values his work without knowing the creator, you know, and that kind of like I think just set an instant spark, and that was and then they're like instantly like moving in together, married.
Yep.
This is
yeah, like when it flows, it just flows. And I was like, I love that. Like there's no neuroses in that couple.
No, and even so, it's common and it's like comfortable.
It's so comfortable. Yeah, there's no like awkwardness. They just and I love the idea of sort of like bonding about mutual interests, but also they have like stuff that they hate together. And I was like, that's really how to bring a couple together.
Yeah.
Is you have things that you could be like, oh yeah, that's really annoying. Me too. We're annoyed by the same things. Okay, awesome. That's a great connection. Yeah.
What size ring do you wear?
Exactly. No, they're instantly like, let's go home together. They don't even need to think about it. They're instantly arguing about like what furniture to put in their incredible brownstone. I'm like, wow, I would love to have these problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How did you feel about that wagon wheel table?
I don't want it either.
Yeah. You agree?
Yeah. I wouldn't want it if we broke up. Absolutely not.
Yeah. It's a little in a living room that gorgeous. I'm like, you can have that in your man cave.
That goes in the garden level of this brownstone.
Yeah, not to be, you know, too heterosexual about it, but it's like, yeah, no, you can put your quirky furniture in your game room, which I'm sure you have multiple bedrooms.
Yes.
You're probably
it's like
fine.
Have a pirate bar in the basement. It goes great down there.
Oh, I would love. Oh, Melanie, what if I had a brownstone and we had a pirate themed basement?
I mean, where's the couch? I'm trying to sleep in it. You know what I'm saying? No, I would sleep upstairs.
No, there would be a bed that's like a pirate ship and you could crawl in there and
sleep. Like a Murphy bed and it folds down, but it's a part of the ship and it's like, come on board the ship, you know?
Whoa. I love this concept. Okay. We're going to sketch this out because this is
14th podcast is going to be about interior decorating.
That's it. Yeah, the apartments, yeah, all of the production design of this movie, that was the real star for me. I have to say, yeah, between all of the apartments, the exteriors, the interiors, the clothes, like just to touch on Fashion Corner for a second, where there's some outfits that really stood out to you as a fashion school dropout, as you are. Mm-hmm. As you call yourself frequently on social media. Mm-hmm. What do you have to
drop out?
I'm so sorry.
Cast a wider net.
Yes. Melanie went to art school. She knows things about art and fashion. Yeah. Were there any pieces that like stood out to you and you're like, ooh, I'd love to have that?
I mean, I really liked Meg Ryan. She had a trench coat, I think, that she layered with a couple different tops underneath. It was like one of those, like a button-up collared shirt with a sweater on top with a trench coat on top. It's like you got to layer in the fall, winter.
Right.
You know, you got to be ready to take things off, put things on. That was one of the looks that I really liked. I also liked her college look when she pulled up in the car. Like she kind of, it was similar in that it was layered. It was like a raincoat almost. She's just like basically moving with like what she's got to go to the big city. And then as you see her throughout the movie, her style changes so much. Her hair changes so much. It went from like really 70s coiffed wavy hair to like a straighter look when she was in her like mid 20s. And then she even had like the buttoned up tweed suit that she was wearing at the airport while she was making out with her then boyfriend.
Right. I love she looks like a librarian. I know she's a journalist, but she's got like that little bow around her neck. Yeah. And she goes from like the Farrah Fawcett hair to like a very sleek, like, oh, I'm a businesswoman. Like I'm clearly like trying to get a job. And then she kind of settles into herself, you know, as she gets into her, you know, what I assume to be her early 30s when her and Harry reconnect. And those are the looks. Like, again, if you want to get on fashion talk when we do this movie, there's so many people trying to recreate Sally Albright's looks. This is it was funny. I was thinking a lot of like Practical Magic, which was our second podcast. And, you know, we were also not like raving about that movie. A lot of people love that movie. A lot of people, it's their favorite movie. And do they love the fashion? Yes. They will be recreating another movie where there's a character called Sally in it.
Yes.
All the fashion girlies love to take Sally Albright's style. And it's like this very like librarian sort of academic. They've got the almost like puffy jean with the belt around and then like a sweater with a corduroy jacket over it, which is such a, like, that was probably my favorite piece, that brown corduroy jacket. She wears it over the red sweater. And I was just like, what a combo. Like, it's something I'm in such awe of, like women who like, this is not to like diminish my womanhood, but I'm just like, there's some women who are like real women who know how to dress.
Right.
You know, and I'm just like, oh, that's a woman. You're like in pants and a blazer and you just go to work. Like, that's so crazy.
Right.
So it's just interesting to me. And I love, all the looks. You can definitely say it's very like autumnal and.
Yeah. I even like her New Year's look where she's got or maybe it was their friend's wedding. I'm not sure, but she wore like a green velvet dress, something like about that green velvet.
Yeah, the texture.
Yeah, 80s texture, shoulder pads, interesting necklines for the time. You know, it was like a deep cut, sort of, not like super deep, but like a V-neck green velvet dress. And I'm like, that looks nice on her.
It looks really nice. I mean, she like, could we just say Meg Ryan looks cute as a button in this?
Oh yeah. Gorgeous girl.
Gorgeous
playing
girl.
Against Billy Crystal. No offense, Billy Crystal.
Yeah, no, she's just like peak, so lovely in all of her incarnations. I will say though, Billy Crystal wears an iconic white sweater in this. I don't know if you clocked that white sweater when they're on the phone and they're talking on the phone. He's kind of like crouching in his apartment. It's like a very, honestly, it's like the one you gave me. It's a very Rory Gilmore.
It's like a fisherman's sweater.
It's the white fisherman's sweater. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. No, people fucking lose their minds over that sweater because you don't see sweaters like that on men anymore.
No, you don't.
First of all, fast fashion doesn't allow for this amount of like detail that as you see it, especially like the knits.
Well, and like well-made detail too. You know, it's not just like screen printed, or it's not just like with the fiber crafts, like the fiber weaving. It's all machine done now. It's not hand knit. Like this sweater looks hand knit.
It looks like it was made by an Irish woman who went blind making it. You know, it's like, it's so well done. I was thinking of like another fashion touchstone for me in the early 90s. I think we talked about this in an older pod. I can't remember. Did we talk about the Preppy Handbook?
Yeah, we did, I think.
Okay, great.
We did.
I'm trying to think.
And if we didn't, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. We're talking about the Preppy Handbook, which is out of print. I hope that Mom still has it.
We have one of like the original editions.
Yeah, you better hold on to that because that's going for thousands on eBay.
I know.
And that was like a Bible to me because, again, we grew up, let's just say it, like lower middle class.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, we didn't have a lot of nice stuff or rich stuff.
You know, we shopped at JCPenney. We shopped at Kmart.
We shopped at Kmart. Yeah. That's sort of like the economic
bracket, our tax bracket.
That's our tax bracket, right? That's where we came from.
Blue light special, baby.
So I think I mentioned before, like I always had this fantasy of like being sent away to school, right? Going to like a boarding school. Of course, like couldn't do that. My mom's like, best I can do is Catholic school. So that's what I did. And just this idea of like reading up on all this like preppy fashion and like things that like people would have worn, especially like on the East Coast. It's like, oh, they wore tweed and madras and knits. And it's like your grandmother's sweater that was handed down from like years ago. That is like very much featured in this movie. All of like everything looks very like well loved and well worn. And in terms of like just vibes, I think the fashion really gives it to you here. Yeah, that's maybe the best thing about it. Oh, you were mentioning we did this off we did this off mic, but you were mentioning how much you loved all of the little vignettes with all the
Oh
couples.
yeah. Yeah. I liked all of the older couples like talking about how they got together and, what was their first interaction and stuff. And there's like all different types of couples, mostly like older white, I'd say European couples. I think there was one Chinese couple.
Yeah, there's
Um,
one Chinese couple. Yeah, not a single black person in this movie.
no, yeah,
that's it's a little tough to see, but
it
yeah.
is. Yeah, I liked watching the vignettes. I love love, right? So I'm like, let me hear about how when he saw her in the village or something or whatever, and like knew that she was the one, or like he followed me all the way up to the ninth, he rode 9 more floors just to talk to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, you see the dynamics between the couples. Like sometimes the wife's more reserved, the husband's more reserved. Sometimes they're talking over each other, and everyone's got a different flavor.
So though all of those vignettes, they interviewed a bunch of real life couples. And at first I thought the way I had remembered it is that these were the actual couples, but they're not. They're actors. And I
Oh.
do wish that this was shot documentary style and we saw actual couples talking. I mean, they all do great jobs and you believe them,
Mm-hmm.
but they are actors that are saying actual dialogue that came out of interviews that they got for the movie. And I do like how it kind of ends with Harry and Sally talking about how they got together.
Yeah.
That kind of puts a nice like pin in it at the end.
Yeah. I couldn't stand him when I first met him,
Right. And it's very cute and it kind of makes you think about, I don't know, it makes you think about like how people end up together.
Mm-hmm.
And like, does your initial meeting have a lot to do with it? Or is it like the friendship that you develop over the years? So yeah, I thought that was very cute. It was, it's like, it really gives some more heart to the movie. It could just be like a very standard, like cut and dry rom-com that adds. And I like all of the couples too are sort of like all these older sort of like stereotypically New York couples. And you're like, I've seen that couple.
Right.
Walking around Brighton
like
Beach.
Here's Ethel and Frank, like...
Exactly. It's very sweet. And it kind of like, yeah, I understand why people say that this is their comfort movie, like favorite movie. I don't know. I was really trying to think of like, so what would my favorite, I know what my favorite movies are, but like, what are my favorite rom-coms? My favorite rom-com, the number one for me has to be Moonstruck.
Yeah, it's on my list as well. I really, really love Moonstruck. It's just so, I mean, maybe we'll review it anyways one day just for like the sake of being a favorite of ours.
I was going to say, we might run out of movies that you haven't seen.
True, but also I just watched it for like the first time all the way through last year.
That's bonkers to me.
I know it's a family movie in that like so many generations of this family love that movie.
It's one of the movies I feel like Moonstruck, it's always like in my top 4 on Criterion. Again, not a perfect movie, but it's such a familiar movie to me. Like that's the kind of like love that, and maybe it's again, because we're Eastern European, we're not like waspy people. There's a passion to it. And there's like this, there's also like, it's not just a love story, but it's about family and generational love. It goes like way deeper. It's like, if we have to be together, your family has to like you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, that's like deep rooted stuff that I can't even like, maybe that I could never escape from.
Yeah.
It's pretty deep. I love it. And I think, and also like such a classic New York, specifically Brooklyn movie.
Yeah.
It is. It's, written by the great John Patrick Shanley, great playwright. So it really reads like a play too. Moonstruck. I was going to say Sleepless in Seattle is also great. Another Nora Ephron movie. Bridget Jones' Diary, which I already mentioned. I didn't want to bring up Woody Allen again, but Annie Hall is like a classic.
It is.
Yeah, I was trying to think what else. Yeah, you haven't seen, I wouldn't say this is my favorite rom-com, but you haven't seen Singles?
No.
Yeah, that's a very 90s kind of romantic comedy feature. And also Valley Girl.
Oh yeah, I love Valley Girl. Another Nick Cage.
Great. honestly, Nick Cage back in the 80s, he could fucking get it.
He can fucking get it.
Now I'd be a little scared.
Yeah.
He would murder me, maybe. He's unpredictable. I really appreciate his body of work and the diversity of his body of work. I absolutely do. He's also another actor who like just makes like insane choices.
Yeah.
So we could have like a whole Nick Cage month, and I could make you watch Moonstruck, Peggy Sue Got Married, Vampire's Kiss.
Do Valley Girl for Mom. That's her favorite movie.
Yeah, Valley Girl it's just Romeo and Juliet, right? It's just Romeo and Juliet set in the valley. It's top tier, I think.
Yeah. My pick of like a rom-com that I like is a little more lowbrow.
Go ahead. Spill it.
I love The Wedding Singer.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah,
Sandler and Drew Barrymore.
They were like a classic. They did a lot of movies together.
They did 50 First Dates too, which I did like. That was a little later. Obviously, it was like in the 2000s. But it was cute because it's like she had a head trauma and like has bad short-term memory. So like he has to like every day like set up to, get her interested in talking to him and, kind of thing, and fall in love with her. And every day's the different day. And then like at the end, he records like a VHS for her to watch so that like she can kind of catch up to where she's at now. So she's not like totally jarred after she gets out of bed.
Yeah. I'm like, after the years, like that got really true. It's like, oh, you had a kid?
Yeah, exactly. Oh God. Yeah, exactly. And then another one would be Sweet Home Alabama. I don't know if it's a true rom-com, but I fucking love that movie. And I don't care what anyone has to say.
I was thinking about Reese Witherspoon because I love Legally Blonde.
Oh yeah. Love Legally Blonde. I mean, that kind of is a rom-com, but it's more of just a comedy, and it's more of like a girl power movie.
Yeah, the movie Legally Blonde is really good, and the Broadway musical is one of the most successful movie to Broadway. It's so good. And this is, coming from a musical girly. Yeah, I've never seen Sweet Home Alabama. I know there's that one line, like, you brought a baby to a bar.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was just like, oh yeah, I can relate to this.
Yeah. She's like, oh, you like my sweater? It's Jaclyn Smith, It's like Kmart special, baby. Like it brings you back home to your roots. But it's basically about a woman named Melanie.
Oh,
who goes to New York to pursue her dreams as a fashion designer.
I see now.
Meets a very rich man whose mother is the mayor of New York.
Okay.
And
go on.
It's McDreamy, Patrick Dempsey, and then so she's going to get married to him. And she has to go back home and like talk to her parents. So she's like, I'm getting married. This is what it's going to be like. There's going to be PR. It's going to be a whole press junket because, but I've created a new life for myself in New York where like nobody knows I'm from like the back swamp of Alabama. And I have to go like to my home double wide and talk to my parents and like get them interested in this. But she was actually married before and never finalized the divorce to like her high school sweetheart. And so she also has to get him to agree to sign divorce papers, played by Josh Lucas, peak Josh Lucas, if I, could say so myself. Very hot.
I haven't thought of Josh Lucas in a hot second.
It's a great movie. You have to watch it.
Okay, I'll put that on my list.
It's silly, but it's Southern. It's got some New York in it. It's fine. But anyways, yeah, it's a classic in my eyes.
So those are your favorites. Wedding Singer and Sweet Home Alabama are like the templates for you.
I would say so.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's there's so many that have come out
and
since
Moonstruck.
Yeah, I was like, there's so many that have come out, and again, a lot of them are like very formulaic, much like a lot of the like romance books that are published. It's like, all right, I know what's going to happen.
Right.
So it's like it's nice to see like a unique twist on it or like a unique setting. I think the thing about When Harry Met Sally is like, unlike a lot of rom-coms, there's no real like pinch point with them. It's just sort of like, we shouldn't be together, so it's just sort of like a drawing out of the inevitable, but there's no like real conflict to it.
Do you know what I'm saying? When they sleep together and they have to agree, like they clearly liked it.
Right.
And then like have to agree that it was not meant to happen. And then they get into a disagreement about that and kind of like separate from each other, you know?
That's true. Yeah, they do. Yeah, like the conflict happens like after the sex.
Yeah.
Usually I feel like in movies it'll be like they'll usually like insert like another guy or another girl, you know, and it'll be kind of like a love triangle thing because people do love that, but it's like it's really just focused on like their psychological hangups. You know, it's a very like neurotic kind of New York comedy, you know.
I was gonna say too, it's like so clearly Billy Crystal, Harry, he's from New York, went to college in Chicago.
Right.
Sally's from Chicago, is moving to New York.
Yes.
So they go back together, like hitch a ride. You know, we've done that I-80 drive many, many a time.
I was going to say, we didn't talk about it in the beginning, but we have done that drive and it is insane.
It is insane. And so basically, like, he finds like the most neurotic non-New Yorker.
Right.
To fall in love with in New York.
Right. Like she's very New York coded, right?
Yeah,
like,
she had like her insane order. She knows what she wants as far as like, you know, career, food, lifestyle, but like doesn't know what she wants in a man. And then she really has no like spatial awareness because like again in the beginning she's like, I slept with more people than that, like screaming, fully screaming in the diner. And everybody turns around. And same thing when she's in Katz's Deli. It's like, ma'am.
Yeah, no, she definitely comes across, and again, there was no like term for this back then. But Sally is she's like a little neurodivergent queen. Like she likes what she likes. She wants like very specific food things.
And no spatial awareness.
No spatial awareness. Yeah. So again, sort of like, I don't know who Nora Ephron, was it based on like herself? She definitely comes across as like Billy Crystal's clearly like a Jewish East Coast kind of guy.
Yeah, he's from New Jersey.
He's from New Jersey.
Well, I don't know if Billy Crystal is, but Harry is from New Jersey.
Billy Crystal, I do know this. He was born in the Bronx, then he moved to Long Island.
Okay.
And like he was bar mitzvahed in Long Island. So like he is a New York guy. Meg Ryan IRL is from Fairfield, Connecticut.
Oh,
and she is a Connecticut ass woman for sure. Mm-hmm. She is like very Anglo-Saxon. So yeah, it's just like, yeah, that's a really good point. He loves the neuroses and he's into it. And like whatever annoyed him in the beginning, he's just like, actually, I like how you're particular. And so, yeah, it is sort of like, it's very cute in that way. And like, you can be sort of like annoying and flawed people and end up with a person who like, is like, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Who likes you. I mean, the main thing I think, yeah, of course, in love, you know, speaking as, since I'm an expert.
Yes.
On love.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like as a Libra and a married woman, the most important thing is that you respect the other person. And like everybody does shit that's annoying, right? Like I do shit that's annoying, but your person has to find it endearing. And then also I will say, because this has come up recently in conversation between my husband Ryan and I, is that I feel like a lot of people, especially nowadays and younger people, seem to want like the perfect person who has no flaws. Like you don't want to hear like if the person is like sick or like has to go to the bathroom or like looks anything less than perfect. And I'm like, that's what being together is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like if I'm throwing up and like ill, like you better bring me a Verner's on the couch.
Me an ice pack. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's the important stuff.
Push on my neck.
Yeah. Like give me a little massage. Like people talk a lot about like grand gestures and like little surprises. And I think that's all like good and stuff. But like for me, the important thing is just like having somebody you know is going to be there, who's like reliable and like, yeah, is not like annoyed at your stupid bullshit. Like isn't annoyed at the fact that you want apple pie a la mode and you need the ice cream separate
on the side. And I would prefer strawberry if you have it again on the side. If not, I'll have just the apple pie, but not warmed up.
Yeah, and then only whipped cream if it's real whipped cream. And then if
it's
not,
canned, forget it.
Which is wild. I'm like, what diner would have real ass whipped cream? That's an insane request.
I think maybe one of those diners that we watched, shout out Miles in Transit.
Shout out Miles, yeah.
Where he went to some of those older diners in like Boston area, and like they're like basically boxcar diners.
Yeah, they're like all the streamlined
Maybe they would
diners.
have it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, if they're trying to do everything like authentic style. I can't believe we've gone, well, we did talk about Katz's a little bit. I was going to say, I can't believe we've gone this far and we haven't really broke down the most famous scene from When Harry Met Sally. I feel like we're kind of winding towards the end, but like just real quick, like what was your thought about that scene? Because I have a couple real quick.
Mine with the, the lack of spatial awareness at first, I was very uncomfortable as everybody kind of stopped and the silverware stopped clattering around and like everybody's paying attention to her and she's going through it. I think she sold it to me, but at the same time, like, it's funny because he's like, "Are you okay?" Like, just chiming in from the side. Is there something wrong? But yeah, no, it was funny because obviously with the end of it being the lady, I'll have what she's having,
Right. The classic line. And you know who that woman was, right?
No.
That's Rob Reiner's mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so they were just like, okay, we're going to write in this funny little line. Somebody has to say it. And Rob Reiner was like, I know the perfect person. And she's not an actor. We're just going to bring my mom in. And she nailed it. Right.
Yeah,
and did. It's funny. Yeah. Cause I was like cringing through the whole thing. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe somebody would do this in public. My main takeaway from that scene is they're eating these Katz's sandwiches. And we have a lot of experience with deli, with Jewish deli, with Katz's specifically. I'm like, there's not enough meat on those sandwiches. I'm sorry. They were like
Meg Ryan. Not what we're used to. Yeah.
Meg Ryan had like one, I think she ordered turkey. I was trying to like clock her sandwich. I was like, she's eating like maybe a turkey Reuben, but it's like literally one piece of turkey between rye bread. And I was like, girl, put some shit on that sandwich. I mean, maybe she didn't want the mess, but like,
her neurotic order is going to be like, I only want 1 or 2 slices of turkey, breast cut if possible, serve it warm. So like griddle the turkey if there's nothing else on the griddle and blah, just like,
right. And like
something insane.
The guy who's like slicing her food is just like rolling his eyes and she probably didn't even tip, by the way, anybody, if you go to Katz's, please tip the people who cut your sandwich.
Yeah. But I mean, you got to tip because they're going to give you a little sample.
They're going to give you a little sample. You're going to get a little tray of pickles.
Oh my God. I want some half sour pickles so bad.
Oh my God. It's like lunchtime too. Ugh,
I know.
Maybe I should just order. I'll order it right now.
Order it now.
I can't.
My house.
I can get on an app and get Katz's delivered to me within 45 minutes.
But is it from the Lower East Side or is it Fulton Street location now?
Great question. Probably the one on DeKalb, which is not the same. It's just like the alternate Veselka location. Yeah, it's like, okay, you got to go to the original.
Yeah, I know.
You got to do it. Would I wait in line 3 hours for a sandwich like peak holiday time? No. But we could, I feel like it's one of those like New York touristy restaurant-y things that is kind of like worth it. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because it gives you like a taste of the old school because they still give you a ticket when you walk in. It's classic. There's not a lot of places like that left. So it's like the fact that it's so well preserved and well revered. It's just, you have to go, especially if you eat beef, like it's the place to be.
Yeah, no, great kosher deli. Before we start to wrap this up and rate it, what is your Katz's order?
Pastrami on rye.
Just regular pastrami on rye.
Pastrami on rye. Yeah, I do the pastrami there. I like the corned beef too, but pastrami specifically. And I want to, obviously the pickle mix and the mustard is so good. So yeah, just like the standard. And usually, I mean, I'm good for a half a sandwich because like you said, normally it's like a fistful of meat on each end of that sandwich. So
it's so much. Now I'm on Katz's website, like scrolling. I'm like, oh, I can just get this delivered to you guys.
Yeah, send it. I love a Christmas food.
Oh yeah. No, you can get the holiday box. So
I know.
Good.
Like I've marked, I started adding up my Zabar order on my phone and I'm like, I'm already at almost $300. I'm like, I need to chill.
You know what? It's worth it though.
It is worth it.
It's worth it. It's so good. Just want to come on this pod and say, I love smoked meats. I love deli food. Like Jewish deli food is one of the things. And we didn't grow up Jewish. Like I grew up Catholic. You grew up with nothing.
Like Catholic adjacent.
You're Catholic adjacent. Yeah. But like, I don't know. I have just a passion. Nothing makes me happier. I'm going to go on a diner rant for a second because I'm just in the mood to talk about food. Nothing makes me happier than going to like a Jewish type deli in New York and getting a salad and just having like egg salad or tuna salad on it, and then like a pickle on the side, and then just like a little cup of soup with a matzo ball and then some thinner noodles in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so hungry right
just
now.
like really good broth, you know? You can just
So
sip that
good.
broth, bite that sandwich.
Whitefish dip with crackers.
Ooh,
yeah, just like
dip.
I almost bought, we were at Costco the other day. Sorry, this is turning into like
Shout out to Costco.
Shout out Costco. They had like a big vat of whitefish dip. And I was just like, I just want to eat that with some Ritz crackers. But it was such like a huge
baguette.
Yeah, it was like a huge Costco size vat. And I'm like, I'm not going to eat that. Like,
yeah, no, that's the only thing. Like, you have to be prepared to take that to a party or like make that a everyday occurrence in your diet to get through all of that. But
wow.
Yeah. I just love food.
I just love food. Yeah, that's my main. I love,
like church basement food, like Midwest church basement, like Polish style with like a mix of like the Eastern European, a little bit of the Jewish with like a latke, pierogies, kielbasa, all that stuff. Just like that real homey style, cured meat, sausage, beef extravaganza.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too. Again, like we grew up in Eastern European communities in the Midwest, kind of like the Rust Belt, if you will. And yeah, a lot of the foods are very similar to like Jewish deli foods, like you said, like a lot of pierogi, it's very soup based cuisine.
Soup and stews
and salads and beets and potatoes. Okay, we have to rate this movie because I got to get off and I gotta make myself.
Eat now. I'm starving.
I gotta eat. I'm fucking starving.
I give it a B.
You give it a B. Okay.
I liked it. I think it warrants a rewatch.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
I liked that, some of the comedy in it with like the friends meeting at the dinner that they planned, them having their special moments together, whether they're on the phone or talking in gibberish language.
Yeah.
Like making their own style of talking up. Just like being together, going to Sharper Image. Like, remember shout out Sharper Image.
Shout out Sharper. Yes, when that happened, I was like, hell yeah. Who else remembers this store?
An insane store.
I loved it. As a kid, you couldn't get me out of there.
Oh, I know. And everything was like so expensive. And it's like, you can't take it home. But I'm like, but I want it,
Right. Like and then singing over when they sing karaoke together and they're singing Surrey with a Fringe on Top, which is one of my go-to karaoke songs. And I don't know where that started. I don't think it's because of this movie. I love Oklahoma as a musical, but like I know all the parts in it. And I was like, oh my God, they're singing Surrey with a Fringe on Top. I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I completely forgot about it. Yeah, I will say I'll give it like a B. I mean, now that you're reminding me of all these cool things that I like about it, I'll give it a B minus.
Yeah, it's like a comfort. Like, it's a good vibes movie too.
It's a good vibes movie. Again, it's like painfully heterosexual, but it's like it's so like committed to its own viewpoint that you can't really like find too much fault with it. It's like, it's clearly like, if anything, you feel bad for these people sort of having like a very limited worldview. But I feel like there's a part of all of us who can like at least relate to it a little bit. Like we've all been in this headspace at one point. So you're just like, you know what? I get it. Like,
yeah,
I want to find the one.
Speaking of, again, applications, or if you can recommend somebody, maybe I should build my Rolodex.
Yeah. You know what? Rolodex is what we had before smartphones. It's so funny because when I used to bring up Rolodex a lot. I used to reference it like when I used to teach public classes. And you had like a Gen Z, a super young person, because you would say Rolodex and they would just look at you blankly. They did not know what it is. So you might be go ahead.
I'm young, but I know things. You know what I'm saying? I'm cultured. As far as like things from the 70s, 80s, even the 60s.
Yeah, no, it's because, you have, an elder sister who shows you things. And, we have a mother who's very like rooted in the past.
Yes.
So she hasn't like embraced new technology. So of course, you know what a Rolodex is. Yeah. We got to get you your Rolodex of available men who are respectful and who are rich.
Yeah.
Who can get you a brownstone. On the Upper West Side. Okay. So all of our listeners, let's work harder to get Melanie hooked up, chop, chop.
So I at least have the privilege of saying that I've been married.
Good Lord. Yeah. You know what? It was romantic. It was a comedy. It was in New York. They got a Christmas tree. I mean, what more do you need, you know?
Exactly.
It really reminds you the important thing around the holidays, which is like you do need somebody to help you carry that tree home. It's hard even if you're strong, it's tough it's just awkward. It's an awkward lift. You know. You gotta.
That is true.
Well, that was our pod. Thanks again for listening, everyone, to VHS Sisters. Feel free to hit us up in the comments. Go check us out on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a fashion corner for this one for sure.
Yeah, no, we gotta get some good slides of all these incredible looks. And then stay tuned. We're gonna keep rolling with these festive classics as we wrap up the end of the year. So we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of VHS Sisters.
We hope you've had a fun and cozy time.
Please consider liking, leaving a review, and following us on your podcast platform of choice.
If you'd like to chat with us, please email us at VHSsisterspodcast@gmail.com.
Love you. Bye. That's it.